man, I'm all off today. I hit the wrong button. I'm crazy behind. Hey everybody. I'm a little behind today, so don't mind me while I finish setting things up. Um, how's everybody doing? I see I don't even have my chat up. This is bad. I was a little behind schedule. Let's see here. Is this gonna do on the right screen? It did on the right screen. Good. Let's see. First, let's get the chat up. I'm glad these things are edited. Well, actually, I guess they're not really a whole lot anymore. Is it working? All right. I don't need to hear myself or see myself. I just need to see chat so I can see all y'all on here. All right. I think chat's working. If somebody can let me know, that would be appreciated. And then I'm also going to be setting up, let's see, we can get Peter in here, who's going to be joining us later. Exactly. It's you and me, Peter. It's just the two of us right now. So this is good. See, I was intentionally, well, I also started the countdown a little bit late. So I had written like this tweet thread that I wanted to get posted just so before I lost it. I did that right before I ran over here. So running a little bit behind. Let's see here. Let's first pull up the desktop. Is that working? Yeah, I was afraid of that. That's not working right now. So let me, Hey, good. Okay, I know how to fix it when there's a problem, at least. So screen capture is now working again. All right. There we go. Oh, there are a few other friends here, friendly binges. Welcome everybody. All right. Let's see. We got chat working. We got a desktop, although this hasn't been updated. So can I not? Oh, that's not my VM. Well, that'll do it. That's my VM. Oh, right. Totally what I meant to do. Here's the VM. Yeah, like OS updates, what could possibly go wrong? Let's do it. I'm living on the edge today. Okay, let's see here as I kind of get this stuff figured out. Obviously audio is working. Hopefully mic levels are fine. Is it? I don't feel like mic levels are fine. I guess they're fine. I think I need to be a little bit louder. Let's do there. That looks better. So on the agenda today, we've got a couple of things. So first I need to finish, let's see, Ninja. Let's get the latest dev update here. Let's get this thing all updated, make sure we got the latest. It's been a while since we got dev. We are going to go over a new plugin Peter's working on. A dist upgrade on stream. I mean, I did do the do release upgrade on our build infrastructure yesterday, and it mostly worked. It was honestly pretty good. So, yeah, surprisingly, it went well. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to like chance it. I'm not sure I want to push that push my luck too much. So, okay, so that's working. Let me go grab. Let's see. Let's get Peter on. I think that's over here. So we're gonna do. I can remember the URL. Ah, there it is. And let's create a room. All right, and then I gotta send this to. I usually use the same room name, but today I'm gonna change it, just because I've leaked the password like a half dozen times in the past on stream. So let's see if we can do this. And now enter the control center. So let me get the link for Peter, and then Peter can join in. It will be. If I type it right. All right, let's see. Let's see if this gets Peter in here, and then. Oh, no, you know what? Yeah. And now I have to, though, capture a group scene, auto add guest, like copy link. this is all the stuff normally I would have done beforehand, but I guess in the meantime, how is everybody doing on the chat? Do we have folks, and actually, I said in the outline, if you saw that, there are two, oh, how do we do this? Actually, I'm gonna switch over to OBS Ninja. Can y'all can still hear me? I apologize, you can't see anything. I just need to update the URL here. Let's try that. Should update that. Oh, hey, Peter joined, and I see a Peter. Can you say something, Peter?
Hello.
I think I hear it, Peter. Does everybody on stream hear it, Peter?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Sweet. They can only see you. This is just the Peter show today. So I think I've got like the full stream one on.
Oh, I actually can't hear you through.
Okay, that might be. Hold on, let me. Guests can hear others. I think I need to add the director to the scene. There, can you hear me now through it? I think Peter, you should be able to hear me through the other one. Still can't? Let's see. I definitely. Oh, I didn't even put reminders as far as I normally do this week, so it's probably a good thing. Got extra time. Enable directors microphone speak for yeah. Oh, there we go. Audio source. I can just do this. Testing, Peter. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can
Okay.
hear now.
Cool. Sorry about that. All right. So now you can hear me, but I shouldn't be transmitting. Except, yeah. Okay. Good. Cool. So I think we got everybody, and currently we've got a giant full screen Peter. So if you share your screen.
Oh.
If you want to, like, you don't have to, like, but we've got you on here, or I can just add you to like the desktop share.
Well, I mean, I can talk about code, but like my code's all jacked up right now.
Yeah, no worries. Let me put you back over on here, desktop, and we're going to add this. This. Oh, I think you're directly. No. Ah, here we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, now I got you on stream too. So we both got little video cams. All right. So let's see. We've got that working. I've got chat here. Now I'm going to pull in the code that Peter's been working on, and we can check it out, because I think that's going to be interesting, and folks are going to want to see that. So let me go grab your code. I think you're...
So for what it's worth, what I'm seeing is delayed because it's through YouTube. So like if you're
there's
screen shared with me.
I can do better, I think. Let me see if I change my settings, my video source as this, if it doesn't break it. Yeah, it can't pull it because it's being captured. Oh, now I know what I can do. Hold on. I can actually start the virtual camera, and then I can stream the virtual camera to you. OBS virtual camera. There. So you should now see the live stream. So you'll have a better view to it. Cool. All right, so should I take the class? Yeah, let me take the class version that you were working on. I think it really matters right now. Where was the latest version of the plugin, actually?
Probably the one that is in Slack.
In the DM or in... Did you post it in the main channel?
I thought it in the main channel.
Okay.
Make code apply.
Got it. Okay, so here is cd ninja, cd plugins, make code. Okay, so this is a plugin that Peter was working on.
You need to call register at the end
Yep.
as well.
And there. Get rid of the key sequence. Well, I was going to comment it out, maybe. Also, what's up with my syntax highlighting? Oh, I think I went with the syntax highlighting specifically that was really like not intrusive, so we don't have to worry about that. So, okay. So this is, pull up a random binary. You want to talk about this this plugin? I mean, it's called Make Code or Make Codify. I think that's a good hint.
Yeah, so in Binary Ninja, obviously, we only consider things that are code that are part of a function. And a lot of times you have like padding between basic blocks, or you have like some stub that you really don't want to analyze as code, as a function. You just want to see what the code is, what the disassembly is. We don't really have a way of doing that currently. We've got some plans for it, but
Like,
I
look at these bytes
had
right
an
here.
idea this morning.
Maybe these bytes are really important. Maybe these are not just a 13-byte NOP. Maybe these are actually something important.
Yeah, unlikely, but maybe.
Unlikely, but unless, and I guess it's important to clarify, like, right? The context is, yes, press C to make code. Thank you, Marcus, and thank you, intern.
I'm doing the intern thing.
I have my intern deliver me coffee. It's so good.
Oh man. I use something that's called a data renderer to accomplish this. And in the past, so I think people don't really appreciate how awesome data renderers are.
No, there's. Can you think of any like other public ones? Like, I don't think there's any plugins in the plugin manager right now that use data renderers.
I think John has one in his
Objective-C.
Objective Ninja.
Or Objective Ninja plugin, yeah.
And it's for like CF strings.
Which was actually one of the original like motivating use cases, right? Like that was part of the goal. Was
I mean, well, it was like it was just to display types, and then we're like, well, we could certainly expose this and have an API. And yeah, so what a data renderer does is, you see, if you go over to the source, you got the perform is valid for data. We just check if there is a data variable which is an array. Well, if there's a symbol at that location.
Okay, so like this, the address is just passed in, I guess, right? So you've got a binary view.
Yeah, so this is called in linear view, in part of the linear view rendering code.
So only like not graph, but you have to be in linear view, and as you're scrolling through here, like here's
this is called. And so if we get called here and we have a variable that starts with code underscore, and the type, you can't really see it on your screen, but the type is an array, and the child type is
should be, it's line wrapping.
Is it is line wrapping. I don't check the child type. I just say if it's an array that starts with this. And then what we do is we run the code in perform get lines for data. And the feed is like unreadable to me right now.
Oh no.
So I will look elsewhere to get my
that better.
So perform get lines for data. What we do is we just actually start disassembling them using the bv.getDisassembly tokens, and that just returns us tokens, and we just append the tokens onto the result until we've reached the end of the type that we created, the array.
And then just return the whole thing.
So, and then so down further, we've got make data, make code, and what this is called whenever we run the make.
Oh, okay.
code,
Marcus wants to see the results
command.
first. Let's do it real quick. Why should people care? And it is exactly, by the way, Marcus, something that's relevant to your interests as well. So we'll get to this in a second. But if I've got, let's see, I've got this thing. If I saved it, and let me restart Binja real quick and open that binary. Like these bytes right here, I can just select these bytes, and then
You don't even have to select them.
just start them right there. Cool.
Yep.
Make code. Oh, look. Hey, that's disassembly. You know, the embarrassing thing is, like, sometimes this happens where yeah, that's it. That's the demo. You can, and the interesting thing for you, Marcus, is that you'll notice earlier I commented out the register action with a key sequence of C, because there's a bug we found that actually is going to impact other plugins like Lighthouse.
We don't know if it's a
Well,
bug yet.
we're not sure yet. We're still working on it, but the hotkey version of this is not working.
That was not work. That code was not working. I feel like it should, but
This line seems like
it doesn't have a action context to be able to, like that in the make code helper, like it has to get that context from somewhere.
So I noticed, like, make code in this case just took that one line of hex values right here, right? So for example, if I make it wider, there's like 2 split values here. There's one, let's see.
Right. Well, they have to be contiguous in memory.
Yeah.
Right. And high level IL, if you switch over to like low disassembly,
Yes, that makes sense.
then they'll all be.
Oh,
contiguous.
yeah,
So,
that's right. It was high level IL, so the return was just showing up. That makes more sense.
Right. So those are basic block padding, not end of function.
Actually,
padding.
here's a good example. Like, so this is like, what is this? Is this actually dead code? I would actually like to see what this is. No,
Yeah.
that is just a knot. It's padding. But like, that's a good argument for why this thing is useful.
Well, I think that's a 0. Ends up being a 0.
Which ends up being a 0.
The value of RAX.
Oh, at the jump
That's
here.
the deregister TM clones.
Oh, I mean it's a knot. Oh yeah.
No, the value of RAX at the jump is 0.
So it's going to just jump to 0.
Well, there's a test before it to prevent it from doing that. So
All right. Right. We're just looking at libc garbage now. But anyway, the point is now is as you're scrolling in linear view, you've got disassembly. If you see some bytes between functions and you want to look at them, you can make them as code.
yeah. So it's in a plugin, and
Actually, that's a good question. Can I change the type of this thing? Yeah. If I just remove the type, does it? So yeah, we need a way to like still show the type information, right? Because right now there's no variable rendered. So I would have to do like, can I get vars? Like what's the get var at, get symbol at?
undefined data var. Yeah. I mean, we could add a token in there to show that it's like, to show what it is. But
Oh,
it's not a long-term solution. This is a short-term hack to get people a feature that is desperately desired.
Yeah, so kind of what I was starting with at the beginning is like sometimes, you know, we're thinking out the problem, and this came up partly because somebody this morning was asking for the ability to intentionally say, I'd like these bytes to be a part of this function, and that's not an architectural change we could easily make, right? Like you could right now create a new function by hitting P and just create a whole separate one. In fact, it's still got the name because the symbol was still there. So I removed the variable, but you can see the name was still there, code underscore. So I can rename, surprised changing the name is treating it as a, there's no way to delete the name. That's a good question. How do I restore the name back to like sub underscore whatever?
You created a user data variable there, so
Yeah.
it's not an auto. There is no.
Oh,
So it's
that's right.
not-
So it's auto. It won't ever go back to it. Even
Right.
yeah, that's how it gets the name in the first place. But there's sbv.get symbol at.
Yeah.
Should be just here. Yeah.
What's your goal here?
I was just gonna remove the symbol.
Okay, like you can hit U, I think.
I don't think you can. Is that actually a thing?
If it's a data variable, I think you can hit U to undefine.
Yeah, undefined. But I don't think it's working because it's overlapping with the function start. So it probably, because U is not actually doing anything here. Anyway, so this is very, very early. Clearly, we need some like tweaks to it. But it is a nice way to just quickly look at some stuff and be like, please show me this as if it was just assembly. That's kind of nice though. I like that it just sort of keeps going as long as it was contiguous and it just stops automatically. So I don't have to
Yeah,
stop.
what it does is it just searches for
Like any
it
other
searches
similar
for
variable
the
or function.
next
Let's go
n.
look at it.
It searches for the start of a basic block, the start of a data variable,
Or a segment or section. Yeah.
the end of a segment, the end of a section, and it tries to find the thing that's next that it should probably not continue to make code until.
And now does it so it will
So if you have a
you
selection,
can specify a selection too,
if
right?
you have a selection, then
it
you
will
can
use it.
it'll use it.
So I could just do that. That
if
makes
you
sense.
if you've only selected one byte, then it will
Yeah.
continue to make it until
Yeah.
the end.
Let me undo some of these, although it's taking me back up a little bit. Ooh, does undo not get rid of data renderers?
Well, I mean, it should get rid of a. So there might be multiple user actions that are happening. So you might have to hit
Yeah.
undo a few
Actually,
times.
that's not a bad idea to add to this too. Would be
Yeah.
a begin undo action, right? So bv.begin undo action.
Because I think it's
Yeah.
gonna both define a symbol at that location and define a data variable at that location. So
It's begin undo actions plural. And then yeah, do oops. Just make sure. I was afraid of that. What is this thing doing? Sorry, this is Jordan fighting with his tools again. Can I get a real? Oh no. We're gonna use Visual Studio Code. Speaking of using a real tool. Among the other bonus points, I will see when I've accidentally mixed things, but so my goal was to begin undo actions. Undo actions. And oops, I always hit the wrong hotkey. It's Control C that I'm hitting, by the way, is the one hotkey that always pops that up. I should just remap it. And end undo actions. I should probably make that. So if I select some stuff and say Make code. It has made code, and now if I undo it, no.
She got an exception.
Oh, I did. Did I? Oh. Again, undo actions. What's the opposite of that?
And
Thought it was end. Oh, commit. Commit undo actions. All right, so make code. Undo. Making code. Yeah, it also gives you the hint there, which is nice. Undo. Nope. It is code forever. Interesting. So the name, the
it's just
name
not
is
showing
gone.
the name.
It's not
Yeah,
called
it's not.
code, but it's
No,
still an array.
I don't think that's true. bb.get, it has to, that is valid for data, requires that it starts with code. bb.get symbol at here.
Do I need to scroll away and scroll back? Is it caching the
Could
data
perhaps,
renderer maybe?
Could be
Yeah.
cached.
We might need a way to actually. I wonder if I probably could just hit P here. Yeah, and make a function. Oh, no, it was still, something was still there.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Oh, the symbol was still there. Yeah.
If the symbol's not there, then
It would be rendered. Yeah. What is that? Is it remove user symbol? Curious. Remove user.
You can just, I think you can set it to nothing. Actually, you can get
current
you can
function
do it on
dot
the
name.
data variable as well.
Oh no.
If you have the data variable.
Current function equals nothing. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? The new change that escapes symbols might have made it so you can't set the, you used to be able to set it to none as a way to clear it. I wonder if that, yeah, I wonder if that, because I think it used to be, right? Let me see here. I want to say, was this, I think this was post stable, wasn't it? Yeah, this is post stable. So then just stable shouldn't have this behavior. Current function dot name. Oh, nope. You could always do that. Man, I'm just misremembering then. I thought for some reason that was actually one way you could remove the symbol is by setting the name to empty space, but it's just creating an empty symbol, and so that is not new behavior. That's unrelated to the other change. So anyway, yeah, now you can make stuff as code. You just want to look at it as code. Yeah, needs a little bit of work. Needs some tweaking, and we'll see how to get the C hotkey. Obviously, is a must-have. That's the muscle memory for a lot of people. And there needs to be a way for you to easily like undo it. Which yeah, if it had a variable token here, I think then you would probably just do it on already, right? Because U is already remove undefined. So like if I actually find some of the linear variable here and I actually hit U, so no, I thought that was doing that. Is it, maybe it's shift U? Undefined symbol. So I guess not removing the variable.
I think there's
symbol.
Like we wanted to make you undefine the symbol and the variable.
And remove the variable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it does that now.
No.
But if I give this a name,
You can right click an undefined variable though.
Yeah, that's the difference, right? So if I name it something and then hit U, it undefines it. And so yeah, so showing that code underscore anywhere there and then hitting that and then hitting U would have the same effect. Because like you
You
said,
can
your
also
data render.
right click an undefined variable.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's bound though.
So if we go back to
Oh yeah, look, it's not bound to anything. So.
here, it's not, yeah. That does fix it.
Yeah.
Actually, I wonder if
Apparently undefined variable also, oh no, if you have a symbol there but no data variable, it leaves the symbol there though hanging out, so, or the symbol object.
so I think if I define both though, it's gonna just yell at me. Like if I try to do this and make code, and then if I try to hit U here now. Oh, actually no, does it really just do both?
I don't know.
It either, well, yeah.
Well, it removes one, no, it removes one and both of them have to be present.
That's not true because removing the symbol
Oh,
before.
well, no, we would see.
Yeah, it wasn't removing the symbol
see a
before.
data variable.
Yeah. Get symbol at here.
Symbol here.
Yeah, so the symbol is still there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't do both. It just hits the undefined variable first and then triggered it. Surprised we didn't get a warning for double magnet symbols, but that works too. Actually, yeah, I suspect this undefined variable might be a better default for you for now, because that's probably more what people expect. Instead of removing the name, actually undefining the variable itself. That's probably the expected behavior. But yeah, so
Yeah.
very cool. And yeah, we got to figure out what we need to do to make C work. But
would have been an hour of work if that other hadn't ran into another
ran into other stuff.
problem.
Yeah, the actual
No code is simple.
Yeah, even if the code itself is straightforward, you end up hitting other stuff. So,
yeah.
The other thing I was going to get back to was actually I meant to ask if any of you might know this, Peter. Do you know if the Clang test stuff that Glenn's doing has any successful test builds that I could play with?
I don't.
I'm going to ask him real quick. Because that would be kind of fun. Because I think, one of the main focuses of 3.1 is really getting our types and type parsing and type libraries, the Windows type system up to snuff and getting it really, really robust. And Glenn's been working on replacing the type parser. So like if I actually go and just want to create some new struct, for example, well, actually insert type is what I wanted, where I can just type in a raw, create some new struct with whatever member as I wanted. You could do that now, and it works. But like, well, you'll a lot of not weird formats, a lot of formats that Bob2. Let's start Bob. Like you'll see like named structures, right? Is that the syntax? I don't know if you can see that, Peter, where it's you put the name at the end, is valid C, but our parser won't.
That's
like it.
Yeah, it's like old school C.
Yeah.
Which
some stuff still uses
C99. Or even comma star Bob 3 or something like that, or P Bob
at the very end, or
at the end you comma star P Bob semicolon.
Yeah. So also not going to work, right? Yeah, because again, we're essentially using our own compiler.
Windows uses that all over the place.
Yeah. So and that's to your point. Like Windows syntax is in particular something we want to better support. So you can just like drop a Windows.h or a type library in, and it's coming along. There is a test branch now where Glenn's got a build of Clang that's doing the parsing here and able to put types into the Binary Ninja type system as a result of Clang parsing. So this will probably replace the built-in type parser. So our goal is not just to throw it on as a separate type parser, the way like IDA did in their recent update, but rather to really test all of our round tripping that we do now. And so any existing type, you would be able to edit this type directly. You can edit the whole type here with Y. There are types that we can create in our type system that you can't parse then back with that same type system. So you can't round trip it. And
yeah, like there's no support in C for specifying the location of where an argument is going to be in a function prototype.
Or for example, this, right? Like actually adding some padding and saying, yeah, I've got these fields defined. Now I'd like to hit Y on it, and you'll notice like it's just going to go away. There's no way to say that occurred. There's some empty padding in between or some offset. And rather than come up with some weird, extra like dummy variables that go in there, we'd like to be able to just actually represent it in a way that can round trip through the type parser, so you don't lose data if you try to do something like that.
Or arbitrary UTF-8, for instance.
Yep.
In variable names.
Yeah, if I want to name
we
this...
don't know what programs are going to do in the future in terms of their...
Yeah, just because C, for example, doesn't support emoji in types doesn't mean that other languages don't. There are other languages that explicitly do, and this is perfectly valid, in the type system, because our type system has to support it. But we don't want it to be a C parser that could not handle this. Oh, there it is. That's the new feature there too, where even the current system does actually handle that because of the backticks.
I didn't realize that was landed.
Yeah, the backticks were landed in advance of those stuff, so it's super kind of nice. So this was something I think I even showed off 2 weeks ago on stream, that you can support a lot of like emoji. You could have like class colons or something like that, which again would not be valid in a symbol name in C-spec, but you could do it because we've added on this escaping, so you can use backticks to, and of course you can do like an actual backtick if you wanted to include a backtick in it, but and it will of course do it for you as well. So if you hit Y on it, it's already got it in there, and it's wired up through all of the type editing, the one like here at the sidebar, and hitting Y on any of these too. So that's kind of nice. So that was one good change, and then I think that's kind of what started Glenn looking into the Clang stuff. So let me see. He says if Jenkins is no longer melted, there might be one. We just upgraded, like I said, our build infrastructure in Jenkins, and it looked like it was working. Cross your fingers. But let's see. Yeah, that would be a really fun one to play with. And again, it's still fairly new. There's work that's going on. Oh, there we go. Build 3432. So let's go grab that. There we go. C Binary Ninja test. And let's go grab test build 3432.
Have you talked about the speedy downloading?
I have mentioned that. Yeah, how version switching is significantly faster lately. This is actually slowest I've seen it in a while.
Yeah. And you notice no one's really commented in Slack like, oh, wow, this is so great. Like everyone complains about those little things when they're annoying, when it's a problem, and you hear nothing when it's great.
It's the best features you don't even notice when they're there.
Right.
That's a fair thing. Yeah, I'm trying to think. You know what? I wonder if the test branch shouldn't be prior to that commit. I think he started it after. after that change. Because there is the updater code had to be the newer updater, I think, to get that
Why is
speed
it
up.
faster? We are bundling the updates now. One of the problems with, and for whatever reason, it's going slow now. But
I know, right? It's a bad demo.
I know.
I blame the stream
So
at the office.
one of the things was our infrastructure was getting making separate HTTP requests for each of the files that it needed. And so if, for instance, like the documentation updated, um, like one time we committed some code which put the build number into the
Sorry.
documentation. This seems like a good idea.
I didn't.
Like no one would think that this should cause any problems, except our build infrastructure or our update infrastructure. The way it works is it does differentials. So now every single update, all of the documentation has changed, and there's like 1,500 files, which means like 1,500 HTTP requests. And I was also told that those HTTP requests aren't done with HTTP keep alive or something, so that also would make it really slow. So yeah, we're not doing that, and instead it's all bundled and comes down as a single file.
And then so related to that, that's also why, for example, the version now in the documents is generated via JavaScript, so which is a little overkill. But if I look in like the source here, inspector element, like this value doesn't actually exist in the original HTML. It's populated by a little bit of JavaScript. So that way each page load essentially renders it, just because it minimized the amount of files that changed, right? So that if most of the user documentation didn't change, they didn't actually need to update. You can also see I was here on the command line looking, and like this is where the update folders are, and you can see every file is just a hash, and it's every single file was done individually. So the updates before were all these little files could change. But oh, I wonder if this update, let's look, this test build, I wonder if there's a bunch of Clang files as a result of the, no, because it's compiling in, I think, isn't it? I'm wondering if it's a plugin or, yeah, I don't see it
I've
as
got
a
little kids that are gonna run in here in any moment, so I'm gonna have to take off.
non-maskable cuteness interrupt, I think was the
Yes.
the phrase I heard Galen use.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
All right, guys.
So,
Later.
take it easy. Let's turn off Peter. All right. Yeah, so like most of these, if you look just like total files in the updates, it's mostly documentation and the Python API that takes up most of the files. But we've actually cut down on the total number of files a fair amount lately. So yeah, 1,000 files, of which I wonder how many are just docs, actually. So easily half of which are just documentation, but cool. All right, but back here is the new UI. So you'll notice we've got the Clang arguments. So I don't actually have a Windows build environment, obviously. I'm here on Linux, but one of the goals here is that you can actually pre-populate this and just point it at some path that has a bunch of Windows header files, and you can give it a whole bunch of I mean, the other useful thing for this too will be not even so much in this, but in like a import header, load type file. In fact, this is something I have on a stash. I was working on a UI that would just pop open the file dialog, let you specify a header, and use the existing APIs, which are like bv.platform.parse types from source, and you can give that a source file, you can give it include directories, and that uses our existing type parser. But like, as I was doing this, I kept kind of running into like enhancements and features I want to add to it, and very quickly run up against the wall of like, well, really, we need to replace our type parser and use a better one. And then Glenn's been working on that, which I think that's super valuable, as I said. So yeah, looking forward to that, because this branch here, like I said, if I do create new type, actually here's good. I mean, I could just right from here, I should be able to do struct Bob thing and Bob, right? Can I parse this now? Right. Sure. There we go. Yeah, that's a good example, right? So a lot of the previous syntax that was invalid, you'll notice gets fixed. So that already is a nice little demo. I wonder if is it required that these be the same? Does it have to be the same thing? What happens if it's different? Okay, so it just ignores the second name. I assume that's what the actual syntax would do too. And it is interesting too that that just int gets turned into int32t, even though Clang doesn't know the int. Oh, actually, does that mean then that it's not going to round trip? I bet. Let's see here. Yeah, so int32t. This is also an older build, so I don't know if Glenn has may very well have made some changes. But okay, let's do this. So if we create some new types, we can do let's see, Glenn's throwing me some hints separately. So gcc-wp-v-e-. Oof. That is some magic there. Okay, so here are the system include paths. Right? So we could, let's see, let's copy this. Let's make a new thing here, and we want to so -i system that. And would you multiple of these? Or if it's like this, let's see. And so right now, again, we're testing this, like the UI is kind of like literally just a thin wrapper around the command line that you do yourself, but obviously the goal eventually is so let's see. Let's see. What happens if I just do this? No types found. Yeah, okay, that's true. There are no types found. But I could do, so like what's something in Studio that I could use? Sure. A file. So I could make struct bar. It's a file FIFO. Let's see. Oh, right. But this is also nicer. It tells me what my errors are too. Hey, there we go. Yeah. So we've got a file type. And actually, does it add an auto type of file, I wonder? Yeah, so it's already got, that's cool. That's super smart. So it does kind of the right thing. We'll pull in system types, right? And here, that's what I meant to do. We'll pull in system types. So like file got pulled in via the header that I did, it got added, but my user type is still differentiated, even though I can still double click it and I can see the type def, I can see the struct. That's pretty nice. That's what I was hoping. Yeah. Yeah, and it only did the ones that were necessary, right? Like it didn't pull in everything. It only pulled what it needed in for that. There's obviously more in Studio that didn't get added, I think, here. Yeah. That's not all of, because there's a bunch of the elf stuff that's in here as well. Yeah, although it is interesting because as we add these, we're getting more and more need to be like, well, we want better organizational, better filtering and sorting. Like right now, just the sort's fine, it's helpful, but we're gonna need probably better ways of managing like large amounts of types. So it'll bring up some other use cases that want to get better at, but that is nice. Oh, Glenn thinks that maybe I got lucky and file was already defined. Let's see here. So maybe I was assuming too much. Oh, it did. It was already in. Oh, that's funny. That was a really bad example then. Fpos T. Okay. Fpos T does not though. I do like Glenn, by the way, that it saves the arguments there. That's nice. So if you've got some arguments, I wonder if that's it's not per view. It's being saved default in the dialog box. It probably would be nice if it saved it per view too. Like if I make a change in a different view. Did I? Oh, I forgot to include Studio. Yeah. So it didn't necessarily pull in the inclusions yet. Okay, so I assumed that was done. That was not, but it did bring in the type and parse it at least. Cool. Yeah, I'm sorry, Glenn. I'm too honest. I could have totally just lied and been like, yeah, look at that, you're already done. And then you would have time to build it before people saw it. But we got lucky, and that was literally just the type that was already in this particular one. That was funny. So it did not do the same thing for Fpos T, but yeah, that's really nice. That's coming along. Go back to where my chat go. Let's see. Yeah, adding system types is a to-do, better UI. Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, I guess the question is, is the right way to do this to just add like checkboxes for adding system types, and really you kind of want to have some default ones for like different platforms. Like you want to be able to detect actually, what is the current platform for the file that I'm on. Oh, it's a Linux x64. Therefore, it would be great to have a bunch of Linux headers, automatically, or at least available via checkbox. I don't know why I keep right clicking. I can just hit I. Have it like a, appropriate platform headers, and then being able to have them for a platform that I'm not currently on as well too, obviously. But then if you do have the extra files and want to specify, being able just to pick and choose here is nice. Is this because this is iSystem? Is that why? Yeah, because I don't necessarily want to actually parse all of the types in, but I don't know. Anyway, that's coming along. That's going to be super nice. I guess the other thing to mention is we're really close. Rusty's been working on like really dramatic memory and performance improvements, and we're currently fighting our own build infrastructure right now. Part of the reason that we actually did the upgrade that I mentioned earlier is we're trying to get Jenkins updated, and we updated our build infrastructure from 1804 to 2004. So you'll notice if the fact.binary.ninja, this got a little change to it. There's an asterisk now next to 1804. In fact, somebody found it really quickly, but welcome. Yeah, no worries. So the types, yeah, it's two parts. So like the first part is that I was talking about here is we're not shipping more types yet, but we're giving the type parser the ability to handle way more types and way easier. So just being able to like throw in a random header file and have it like accept it all would be a lot. Like actually that was a good test too. Well, yeah, I could try like some kernel header files. I could try to find some random.h file. Let me see. But in the stable versus, let's see here. Yeah, I could just try throwing it here. The Z3 header file, for example, with that as an include folder. Let's see. Yeah, so like, and that in fact even includes in general, I think is another good example, right? Like the current includes on the SCC parser, and you can leave it open like that too because the sun's not out anymore. Even those wouldn't have done anything at all in the current parser. In fact, actually, I bet it just error. Does it even just error out? Let's see. This is that one. Let's go to Binary Ninja. This is dev. Yep. Okay. So if I hit the right hotkey, hit insert. Yeah, like you literally just get a syntax error. Like you can't do includes at all in current SCC. So you would be able to like do things like that right now on this test branch, even with sort of like no other changes, right? You'd be able just to load in, directories full of header files far easier. Have them all show up in your Bija header. So that'll be nice. And then obviously, just adding a better selection of libraries out of the box too. But I think they're both going to be important because even if we just updated our built-in headers, it's great. But a lot of people have existing header files that they want to parse. Oh, you know what? There's another good test. One of the things that I remember Sergey doing on stream a while ago was trying to import some stuff exported from IDA, and I want to say, where's the test? Is this test build? Yeah, this is it. All right. I want to say it was like the key thing was it was a type for a function that like it was the symbol that started with a number. I think that's what it was. So like so if I just do that, does that work? I have to do that? Interesting. Declaration of an anonymous structure. I wonder if I have to like type def it or something different. So yeah, so out of the box, it doesn't like zeros up there too. That'll be another good test, Glenn. I think we can try that. Is you can go from IDA and for a given file, you can export like essentially a header file, and for whatever reason, their default naming convention puts numbers at the front of things, which is like not spec. But sure. So like for some of the unnamed types that they had in there. So it would be nice to test if those could just be ingested. But backticks, yeah, you could get. That's a good point. You could get around it doing that, right? So if you wanted to do, oh, and that's another good point too. That backtick syntax is also compatible with this, which Glenn had to add to it. That came round trip. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if we're just gonna type def those or how that's gonna be to be like consistent round tripping of that too. So you don't have to like manually change that because again, round tripping is the other thing like being tested, but that's true. Like you could do it with backticks, which didn't exist I think a couple weeks ago when Sergey was trying it, but like still, you don't want to have to do that manually. Like the idea would be to have a mode or an ability to just import directly from the output from IDA as it came, or maybe there was like a loader or some API that would do that for you, that would just do a simple kind of parsing and pull out symbols that had digits at the beginning of them. I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah. And once you had the existing types, then the in32 stuff would work. That's cool. Actually, Glenn, that's a good question. I'm curious. Do you have a current issue for this on the GitHub repo with like a list of what's sort of done or what's planned? That'd be really nice actually for people to see so they know kind of progress towards landing on dev, because I think a lot of people are going to want I want to check this one out because that'll be super nice. And then I think Glenn also mentioned on this build, hitting Y over here doesn't use that new parsing system, but on his local test branch, he does have that already done, or at least on just newer versions of it. If I was to build that, so cool. All right, well, I'm done with playing with the test parsing. I'm gonna go do some reverse engineering for a little bit. I kind of want to look. Where's the latest one? I think, was this it? I don't remember which one. It was this one. Is this the Ukrainian wiper one, or is it the other one? No, this is definitely not. This is an elf. Right? No, this is Windows. So yeah, this is was this the one that, see, what was the behavior? It opened the raw disk. Device IO control, there it was. Yeah, this was the one. That's right. So this is where we were working with, and do I have my snippets? Yeah, so device I decode control code. Yeah, so this is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to actually continue to reverse this thing and actually show some more interesting stuff that we can do with this, right? So we've got these device IO controls that we pulled out from this little snippet where it literally just walks cross references to now to the IO func, which we've got at this in the import table here. And so, you know, it's essentially all of these cross references, and it added that comment. But I'd really rather like do like a lookup on those. So let's actually pull that stuff out. So let's look at this. Part of this is I kind of want to force myself to be more of like a to do some more malware analysis. I think this is going to be good for both Binary Ninja and for me to practice this stuff and see what use cases, because and it also, I think, will be good to maybe write some plugins that will be useful too for people. So let's see, DWIO control code is, oh, that's right, see remarks. And then, yeah, all this. So we wanted the disk management control codes. These are the ones that we cared about. It would be really nice if, what are the actual constants here though, Windows? That's not very helpful. Nice. Yeah, so I've always just got such like a CTF and vulnerability research background. With, you know, since like the last decade, you know, I was doing a little bit of malware already before that, and I was doing incident response, but it was very, very surface level. So I'm curious to try it too. I don't see where with the following parameter. I see here. Can I find these defines? I thought at one point I remember seeing there was a. I mean, yeah, but what's the value? How do I actually get the constant? Oh, this is winoctal.h. Okay, so let's get, can I get this? Yeah, no, like I want like an actual header file. Thanks, docs. I mean, here's the Windows 7 SDK one. Has this changed, or is this going to be useful? I mean, this, okay, so this looks interesting. So just for, yeah, all right. So just for kicks, let's see here. Well, it's yeah. So it's this value. I think I remember that seeing something about them being masked off too, right? So let's get rid of 70. Oh, here we go. Okay, so control code. Yeah, so this is what we want right here. So it's device type, access, function, and method. So we can decode this a little bit here. Actually, let's just do it in our snippet. That's fine. So we've got device is equal to code. And OX is left shifted 16, was it? Right? That's 8. That's 16. I can never remember logical operations. Is it double and or is it and in Python? Yeah, that's right. And then left shift to 16, right? Cool. So that's still what we want. So device is equal to that. Left shifted 16. Access. Device type function method access. Device type access function method. Good job. Very nice. Also, I need to check the size of these now because I assumed that one was. Oh, here we go. Device type from control code. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so device type 4 and 5. So device is equal to. That's nice. We can literally just copy that right out of there. If I rename this control code and yeah, cool. So there. Sorry, I'm a little behind on chat. Yes, the game intended to be hacked was us. That was Pwn Adventure. Well, there's been several now. That was Pwn Adventure Sorcery and Pwn Adventure 3. Just all, if you search for Pwn Adventure. Sorcery is actually playable in a browser. Sorcery, with that like SOURCY, sorcery.pwnadventure.com. This is actually like Rust and WebGL and super fun. It has like an x86 assembler and emulator and all sorts of cool stuff. There's some actual pretty decent hacking you have to do to kind of play the game. It's like not browser hacking, it's in browser. This one actually is just all in-game mechanics. But then Pwn Adventure Z is the NES game, and that one also requires like game glitching stuff. And then there's Pwn Adventure 3, which yeah, we did. We being Vector 35, and also we being mostly Rusty. Rusty is the one who did most of that stuff. So this is method. Which I didn't even have before. Thanks for your extra D-word cast. We are Python. We don't need that. Cool. And define method. Let's see. Device type. I still need access and function. Access. How big is it? I see the bit shifts, but I don't see. Access from, hold on, let's just underscore from. So device type from control code. From control code. Underscore from CTL underscore code. Is that the only two? So they don't actually show you how to mask off to get the access. Let's see. Okay, so here's a list of the devices. So that's kind of nice. So let's just pull this out. We can grab that. Let's put it in here. And then we'll just throw it in. Now what's the, let's see, do I have them installed? I don't. What's the VS Code visual block selection or block based? Is it option? Nope. I'm ready to install Vim, or I'll actually just paste. Okay. So if I just grab these as strings, and put them like into an array, right? So we can just pull those out, get rid of that one that's off, because thank you. And then let's see, let's replace every space with nothing. And let's replace end of line with quote, comma. Beginning of line. Right, and now let's just combine all these. Oh, there was some space. Oh, those are tabs, not spaces. That's why my previous thing didn't get it. All right, so this is devices equals that. So now, oh, I forget the Linux equivalent to be able to copy something from the cat test.tx. Whatever, I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Copy it. All right, so device list equals that. Now device is going to equal device list with that as a lookup, and that should be our device. So our comment should be good. Our method is good. I think operation maybe is method, probably. That's the same thing. So we'll call this operation. And now let's run our script again. And run. See ya. List index out of range. Okay, that's fair. I didn't validate that our math was right here. So let's device index is equal to if device index less than control led device list. Also, I'm sorry for my inconsistent naming. All right, device index is less than that. Device is equal to a device list sub device index. Else device is equal to unknown device ID device IDX. Right, so I'm gonna leave operation the same. It should be fine. Let's see, did that do it? Okay. Oh yeah, look at these. There we go. So most of these work. That's interesting. One of them has an unknown device ID though. That's cool. I wonder if that's the one that no, there's two of them. 86. Okay. And yeah, we can see. So this one here is device disk file system, device file imports, operation. All right, so now I want to read about, actually, let me see if what's my file name? ev.original file name? Original file name, file.original file name, there we go. So here's the hash original file name. Figure a good way to cheat on this write-up is to read somebody else's write-up. Well, a tweet's not going to do it, is it? So now let's see. I'm curious. Actually, you know what else I can search for? Let's do the hash and let's do file device imports. It's probably not a bad other thing to search for. So somebody who got that far. Let's see. Oops. There we go. Okay, that's interesting. So did nobody actually do that, or did they just do it? Ukraine wiper must include import ports. No. Did nobody decode that, or am I just doing it wrong part of it? Disk file system, file device, disk file system. Maybe nobody else decoded it that way. Device file system. Huh. Okay, let's go back to the hash. Actually, I know what I could do. Let's do device out control. That's probably a better one. And yes, it must include that hash. That matters. There we go. Here's somebody's analysis of it. Hermetic wiper. Oh, good. I have an actual name. All right, let's just skim this. OS version. Oh, the resources contain compressed EasyOS driver suite. So is the file we've got the outside of that, or? Oh, since a lot of functionality accessed through, I wonder if to specify octals. Aha, so yeah, I wonder if that's what this is, this device ID 86. So let's actually modify our snippet to offset let's see. What is the Python way to do whatever? Let's just call hex on it. Hex of the offset, and we're going to pass in the actual value here, which is ref.address. Let's see, what's that look like? Decode, oh, right, offset. Kind of unnecessary. There we go. That'll just give us an easier way to navigate the list, so we can click it here. So this one here is calling DWIO control code with that unknown device ID 86, and that's just 56 being shifted. So let's double check that list that we had before. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even get close to that, right? Like it gets to 45 and then stops. So that is, and let's make sure this was Windows 7. So to be fair, let's look for WinIOCTL. Windows 11 WinIOCTL. You're gonna actually give me the list of all of them though? So now what I want is file device beep, sure. Does it show beep on this page? No, therefore you're not helpful to me. Must include file device beep, unless they renumbered it. Windows, WinIOCTL. Yeah, there we go. So here's, and that's even less devices. I really just want the latest. I wish I had a Windows. I have a Windows VM handy, I guess. I could pull that up. I don't remember if I have the dev tools installed on it though. This seems like the kind of thing that, how about Windows 10? Maybe I'm getting greedy. Getting greedy. Okay, this one has storage device, which Winoctal.h. I wonder if this list here is specifically, actually is Beeb on this page? What's another one that was on the old list? Oops. CD-ROM. I'm curious. Yeah, I want to make sure that's the right. Well, actually, we can go back and look at it too, right? Like those look like pretty same things, right? The other code's called disk file system device import, like that sounds sane. It doesn't look like some random octal garbage. So like I feel like that list is the right list. Enumerations. It's actually gonna show the value. Oh, there we go. So these enumerations. Okay, so where is, yeah, okay, so where's the enumeration with IO control code? IO control. Oh, is it moved? Oh, IO API set. Is this why? That's the same list we were on before, right? Yeah. I think I just keep going in circles in the MSDN documentation. Oh, I haven't even looked. Thank you, everyone who's hanging around with me and watching me reverse engineer. I always feel like I have to like do interesting stuff, and to me, just reversing stuff isn't, and going through doc, which like most of reverse engineering is this process. It's the like struggling through documentation, or you're the wrong documentation, trying to figure out where stuff is. But it's in some ways probably more useful than watching me just do all the binge stuff I've been playing with. Hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see where that is. So let's go back to this write up. Let's see what else they're talking about. It does. Yeah, it creates that, a new pipe. We saw this one, right? I think we saw that pipe created, and it looks familiar. Yeah. Save payload. Yeah, in fact, I don't think we named it that, right? Or we must have named that, rather. In fact, we could verify that by opening it. Do not open the existing database. Yep. Yep, that was our name, right? So that is the one that we saw. We saw it saving the payload out here. So, all right, so far we've replicated that so far. And I want to get to the device stuff. Where is shadow copy? Okay, here we go. So device IO control. And this all right, so in this function, okay. So in this, inside of safe payload, let's see, set right, yep. Yeah, okay, so I want to go right. It's gonna create the thread for the safe payload. Yeah. Or actually, wait a minute, is that? Yeah, okay, so that's all inside of there. Now we've already lost track of the stack, unfortunately, here. So we're, no, are we? Or no, sleep should definitely take an argument, right? Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely taking time. What's the default? What the default argument set for that? But that one definitely should be. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, milliseconds. Yeah, but I think we've lost it because of there's gonna be another call here. Oh no, heckling is welcome. Sorry, I'm slow. Yeah, I don't have the stamina that Falk does. You know what, Brinley? For once, I didn't go through GitHub issues. I actually just jumped right into it. Just a quick recap. We showed off a new plugin. Brinley, actually, you might be interested in this. I think I still have it installed, right? If I select a bunch of stuff and then say make code, you can just disassemble it as it doesn't make it a function. It just like changes the display. So Peter built this morning, and the idea is that it's using the data renderer. So it's creating disassembly output. This is not a function. Like if I actually do like current function, it's not going to have anything for me in the console. Because I'm not in a function. I'm just rendering these bytes as code using a data renderer. There's a little bit of jankiness now, like around the like if you hit U to undo it, it works, but there's still like a data variable or still like a symbol I think in here to get cleaned up, and undo doesn't quite work with it. So there's a couple little bugs with it if you want to like create as code and then undo it. But if you just have like some regions of memory that you wanted to look at as code, you can either select a chunk of it or you can just hit it and it will just keep going until it hits like anything else basically. Although in here, I think if I hit it, it'll stop after I hit the other thing that I had. Yeah, it automatically stops at the other spot basically because there's still that symbol kind of behind the scenes that's not showing. But anyway, yeah, that's a kind of neat little plugin. So it's still got some bugs on it, but we're working on it. And then I went back to working on this Ukrainian malware wiper. So we've updated our little plugin that we had. We found some header file stuff from Windows MSDN docs that listed the masks. Essentially, you need to pull out the device IDs for those for that DWIO control, whatever call it was. Where'd it go? IO control, device IO control. I need to actually write this down in the snippet or I'll forget. So IO func is device IO control. So we updated this thing to actually pull that out and show it. And sure enough, we see when we run it on our malware that we were looking at last time, we get more useful data, right? So it's not just giving us these codes, but it's actually telling us like the operation type. And these are all like import disk file. It sounds consistent, but then there's this weird like, what is this device ID 86? So either I got the wrong list here, possible, because I effectively specifically it was like Windows 7 device IO control enums, or that's actually what the malware does. And so that's kind of where we're at with this one. Yeah, so a lot of people have asked us for this feature for a while, and we put it off for a really long time, partly because Binja's data model just doesn't work very well if you don't. Like for Binja, every byte exists in a basic block, and functions are nothing but collection of basic blocks. It's also related to my whole rant about like function size and function end as a thing versus just function start. And so the fact that like you couldn't have just bytes that were disassembled was because well they weren't going to function. And so Peter's kind of idea this morning was, well, we already have this thing that lets you render types however you want. So what if you just create a type, like an array type essentially over a bunch of bytes, and then the way you render that is by showing them, you just pass them through the architecture and disassemble them line by line and then render it. Like that would show it as a disassembly without having to do all the whole like it doesn't exist in a function, there's no analysis, there's no cross references, there's no the other. That was the whole point, right? The whole point of this feature was literally just like people wanted to see bytes. This is more common in like firmware's embedded file formats where you have like custom, custom like file formats and loaders and stuff, and people kind of wanted just to look at things and explore stuff. So it would have been nice to have. We just before now we were like, that's gonna not really work with our data model. And then Peter's like, nah, I got an idea. So it worked. I mean, as you saw, like it works pretty well. You can just be like, yes, please please make that code. And of course, that's anybody who's looked at disassemblers gone wild has seen that before. Where you just like add exal, just a bunch of nulls. So anyway, back to our wiper code. Let's go back to control, device out control. Let's go look at our cross references to that. And we found one that's okay. That's file ports. Where is 1, 3? My thing is too. Actually, that's right. I forgot. Here we have our list right here. This is way better. We dumped out the offsets of each one of these calls, so we can see like, oh, here's one that calls this unknown device. And it's actually port 218. What is a file W from? Oh, here. This looks like a Unicode string. Do I have display as? I don't think we have display as Unicode. This came up before, right? I mean, you could see it's \x, \x. And that's, or no, it's the backslash, it's backslash, and then the null, the backslash, the dot. Oh, that's the, yeah. I think if is it capital A? There's a way to make something, oh. Let's see, is it white char? It's not a stack string, just a white char 16 like 5 f name. Yeah, I don't know if we're doing that. Well, it definitely would be 5. It would be bytes. Yeah, I don't know if I can actually type. I think I'm just doing that wrong. wchar 16. What can I do? Yeah, I don't. There's a way to like get that type correct, and then it will show up as a string here. But we know this is \\, right? For that string right here. So we're creating that file, and this device out control. Yeah, so this one is this ID 86. So this one is weird. And then some floating point. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our write up and see if they mention ioctl device IO. Which one? Oh, nice. So it's just gonna twiddle with bits for the whole bootloader or the whole file system. Yeah. And then it does some stuff after it's already done the wiping. Interesting. Yeah, so it's not a lot about the device control. Device out control stuff. In that one, but let's see. So this one was, yeah, we found it via that. Let's see if there's any other. This is probably just going to list the like import as device out control, right? Or it's not going to have device out control at all. Okay. All right. Well, nobody else has any more information about either, but that certainly looks like that's the that's the accesses that are going to their custom driver that they loaded, right? So they load their driver in, and then they use it. I wonder if this is. Yeah, so this one here is. Oops, let me drive by fast. Let's see. I need a bigger monitor. Yeah, so it's if that call returns, yeah, then we're going to access the device. Yeah, who knows what these are doing though. This is stir WVS3. I don't think we named this. This was This is not decompiled particularly cleanly. I don't remember naming that, so I'm curious. Nope. Well, we did. It's because of how it was called. Yeah, I don't remember why I named that. Doing like some bit twiddling stuff here. Neg. Yeah, I should go back and watch Jordan last week and see what he Oh, yeah, shift right. It's just a string obfuscator. Yeah, I don't remember missing that one now. So anyway, I'm getting tired. Been a long week, but yeah, I think it's a nice improvement to our script to actually pull some of the stuff out. Again, the actual code that we end up with is not much. I think the hardest part is going to be just verifying that our enumerations are right. But it at a glance looks pretty good, so I think that's kind of handy. And then there's some more Unicode stack strings. Oh, I think I also have the. Do I have that snippet? No. String. No, it's not the one I was thinking of. Welcome, Alexian. Unfortunately, I'm just slowing up. I'm just getting tired and about to close down. We play with a new plugin. I know if I want to build the audience, I got to stream longer. And then people kind of drop out. But that's the downside of streaming it on a Friday evening when you're tired after a week of work. But if folks have any other last questions before I close down, and Brinley, you reminded me I didn't actually go over anything on GitHub. It's not a bad idea just to look at if we had any obvious issues closed or things that landed. I did talk briefly about kind of what we've been going on with. The main one is going to be a really nice improvement that hasn't been able to land yet. Sort by most recently updated, which is that Rusty's working on a bunch of major memory reduction and some performance boost stuff. And so, oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. I said earlier, hey, Glenn, wouldn't it be great if you already had an issue with features and stuff? And he probably even wrote back and said, yes, Jordan, I already did. But look at this. So this is what we showed off as well, too, this round trip type parsing. It's going to parse enums, unit structs, types. And again, when he says parsing here, he's also parsing these into the Binary Ninja type system. Right? So it's adding them directly to... we could spend many more engineering hours trying to replicate roughly what Clang does with less features and worse extensibility, which is what we've been doing up to now. I mean, mostly what we've been doing up to now is just leaving the original type parser and relying on it. But oh yeah, that's the other thing is that, so again, Glenn's also, this is where a lot of his work has been importing our syntax. Yeah, so here's some other syntaxes we have. Oh, like stuff like no return too, right? So no return, for example, if I can find my Binja, where you can set the properties on a function and say, oh, look, there's a good example. This one's already no return. So if I hit Y on this and the new type parser doesn't support that keyword, you would be able to round trip it again. And you also want to be able to like just go into the type system appropriately. And so that one's remaining to be done too. So confidence, I don't know if we need for the MVP. Stack adjustments, return args, yeah, those would be pretty nice. And the offset structure padding stuff would be super nice, right? To be able to round trip those structures, as I mentioned earlier. Right now, if I've got some structure and I just know how big it is, I don't know anything else, but then did I do 0? I really did, didn't I? All right, let's try again. Try it with 100. Oh, numpad's not working. I have a bunch of bytes, and then I make, something at some offset, right? But the rest of them are not filled in. If I hit Y now, there's no way to convert that, right? And so we want to be able to have like offset stuff, so it can pad them out and space these appropriately, which will let you round trip stuff like that more easily. Every time we do something like this, of course, it means that like we will not be able to cleanly export to C, but we already understand that, and that's okay. We never will fully be able to represent our type system in C because our type system can do more than C can do, and it's always going to be the case, especially as we move further along into like doing things like decompiling other languages. So we have to have our type system as sort of a superset. But maybe we'll find ways to get the mapping as good as possible, and it is still a nice way to just like enter things in and generally support it. So. Yeah, here's the coolest part too, is that when this issue closes, here's all the stuff that it's going to be able to close. So all of these issues, in fact, should be tagged for 3.1 as well too. So they'll get retroactively pulled in even if they're not. But whenever Glenn lands this, it'll end up being a good change. So I keep talking up. I'm glad we got to show it off a little bit today. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Everybody, sorry for the awkward start. This was a funny stream at the beginning. I was running a little bit late, but I appreciate folks hanging out. And the other good news is that our video editor, so Flecky, who's been doing like the Binary Ninja Basics videos. In fact, you'll notice last week I didn't stream, but I did have. Please don't show me my own face. Please don't show me my own face. It's not gonna be okay. Good. It shows me the little one. We did post a new Binary Ninja Basics, so we're up to episode 6 on Binary Ninja Basics from the streams. And if you have other topics, thanks, Marcus. If you got other topics, then we'd love to like, if you think we make really good, like concise little video snippets for Binary Ninja. I think a lot of people like, the live streams aren't for everybody. And so being able to like edit down some of these smaller ones is kind of cool. So Flecky's back and video editing, so we'll probably get those up and going again. I'm excited for that. But anyway, thanks again everybody for hanging out. We'll catch you next time. See you.